Lots of people ready for a Sunday morning get together. The question is, what shall we do?
Host's choice.
I'm going to send out another feedback email. You've all had my please give me feedback email, but I'm going to send out another one asking a question as to should I dedicate one of the classes to going over principles and movements, whether that be just flowing through or detailing movements like bit of this, bit of that, but referencing around the second third rather than the first third of the form. Because I'm looking at who's attending these classes now. There are a lot of people, like there's several instructors in the groups, several people who are like almost instructors, which means your first third's very solid. So I'm guessing there will be quite a few people who want to try and have a look at the second third. So Bettina clearly does. So yeah, I'll send you an email and just ask a couple of questions as to would you like to, and that's like which day would work best to do that on, and those kind of things. Yeah, so we'll see if we can get one of those started up.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right, with that in lieu, why don't we just mess around with a couple of principles from the second third? Not to learn it specifically, not to learn the proper postures, because this is not a second third class, but we've done this a couple of times. I'm not sure if it was since we started this new month here on January, but in our previous classes we took some postures and sort of did like simplified versions of them to sort of get used to the body's structural positioning, like especially with some of the squatting moves and the kicks and the more physically demanding postures. So we could have a play around with some of that sort of stuff today. And that way, we'll give just something a little different for Sunday morning. Let's try that. Okay, what do I need to do here? All right, I'm back home in my own studio now. So now I can see myself properly, not have a big bright light shining in my face.
Yeah.
All right. We are recording. Yes, musicians mode. All good. I had a lovely sleep in this morning. Slept all the way till 7:30, and the kids slept in till 7:45. That was amazing. Okay, let's just get our bodies moving. So starting off with this one, bending the knees as you sort of lower your hands down, and then standing up, stretching everything up, 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 reaching to the sky, onto the balls of your feet, and pressing down the middle. Breathing out. Little bend of your knees, and coming up, and down. Again, bending the knees. Notice I am leaning forward when I'm bending the knees. Because I'm going so low, you can't keep your back vertical and go that low. Let's scoop up the center. Again, bend the knees. Standing up. Pulling the hands down to the back. Bend the knees, standing up. Bend the knees, standing up onto the toes. Now, if you can do a full squat, see if you can go all the way down. Opening up, breathing in, pushing the ceiling up, pushing the chest up to the ceiling, pushing the bum out, knees bent, elbows back, palms back, head up, inhale, exhale. Curl up into a ball. Inhale, open everything up. Exhale. In breath. Out breath. It's amazing how much looser and supple and just less stiff your body feels when you actually get a good night's sleep. So really try and do that as best you can. If you've got kids, it's sometimes hard, but yeah, when I get a proper 8 hours sleep, my body just feels so good to go. It's like I don't really even need to warm up when I get a proper 8 hours sleep. When I get 5 hours sleep, I'm like, oh, stiff back, stiff bum, stiff neck, everything I just don't want to get out of bed, do you? So yeah, really, if you're not getting a good night's sleep, and that's 8 hours of sleep, not 8 hours of, getting up several times and, that kind of stuff. Okay, sinking down, hinging the hips forward, bomb, hinging the hips forward further, bomb, keeping the spine straight. Stretching into the hamstrings a little bit, opening up down through here. Relax. Breathing out, relaxing the spine down, let it hang. And then straighten it up. Remember, just to straight, not like this, just to straight. And relax it down. Straighten it up, pull the hands out. Relax it down. Straighten it up, pull the hands up. And down. Remember, you can come back up to 45 degrees at any time if you're finding it's too much stress on your back or your legs. Then take your hands overhead and just do a snow angel on your face. See, that's the tough way of doing snow angels. You do it on your face, and then the snow angel's got eyes and nose and stuff. In fact, when we first moved to Wales, we got a good snowfall. Relax your spine. Roll your spine up. We'd never lived anywhere with a lot of... Well, no, we hadn't lived somewhere, but we got a good snowfall when we first moved. Only been there for a month or two. When I moved to Wales when I was 17, not this moving to Wales. Didn't have any sleds or skis or anything like that yet, but we had, waterproof jackets on, slippery, smooth waterproof jackets. So my brother had the idea just to go down like penguins. So we just tightened up our jackets, pushed our chests out, and zoom down the slopes on our bellies like this. The snow's kicking up in your face, going down here, and we had a great time. Okay, scooping your hands up. In breath. Out breath. In breath. Hinge forward, straight back. Lift your palms up as high as you can. Then stand up and relax them down. Same again, in breath. Out breath, then in breath into this one. Then out breath, then in breath as you stand up. Okay, quick leggies. Just lunging into that position, lengthening through the back leg, wriggling around. Move that back ankle, push it up, push it down, push it up, push it down. Forward and back on your weight. Open your hips, close your hips right up. Just generally moving around. Switch your feet. Same thing at the back side. On the other side rather, not your back side. Lengthen through that back leg, pushing that heel up, pushing it down, moving that ankle around, opening your hips, closing your hips. All right, that'll do us for this morning. Short warm-up. Let's do some second, third stuff. Let me think. I don't have a plan this morning. Not that I ever do, but second, third. What's a cool move from the second, third? Let's see. What's happening in the second, third? We're doing repeated moves, da-da-da-da-da, repeated moves, repeated moves. We could have a play around with some repulse monkey principles. That I want to choose the movements that are like, very different from the first third, not something that's just kind of, this posture here. It's basically single whip, just with the hands in a different position, you see? So I don't want to choose those movements. The only point to learning those would be to learn the refined details of those. That's not what I want to do today. I want to give you some things where it's just kind of like the gross details, just to give you a sort of a feel of what some of the more fancy things in the second third feel like. So we could have a look at repulse monkeys. That section's kind of cool, but it's more subtle in its coolness. These, well, we can have a look at those. Those are pretty cool.
Eli. That one.
Did I hear someone speak?
Yeah, see that one. That one. Can you have a look at that as well? Yeah.
Which one?
This one. That one. I've been learning it, but
the penetration punch.
Yeah.
Sure. We could have a look at that. I was just doing that and thinking, that's a nice swirly twirly. It's fairly physically simple, but it's a nice flow. That one. Bang, bang, bang. All right, let's just start off with that. That'll do us. Repulse monkey for something a bit more physically demanding, and this one for something a little bit more coordination-y demanding. All right, let's start off with the physically demanding movement. Again, I'm not going to give you all the details of the exact hand movements. I'm not going to officially teach you the full posture of the second third. Maybe with that second one, I might give a bit more because that's about all there is to that, is to do the nice spirals correctly. Whereas this posture here, I want to just focus on getting the leg work correct, and then the hands will just kind of roughly place them around. Obviously, those of you who know the second third, then you can put the hands in properly. Okay, so let's try. I'm just going to give you the second version of those of you who know the technique here. We start here. The first version is a little bit different in terms of the footwork compared to the second step and the third step. The second and third steps are the same as each other. They mirror each other. So we're going to have a look at those to not confuse people who have never learnt the form. That way it's just the same left and right. Okay, so all you're going to do is, again, we're just going to focus on the legs here. Just stand in a bow stance. No, let's face this way with the right foot forward. That way when we pick up and turn this way, you'll still be able to see me. So, normal bow stance, okay? Start in a bow stance. All you're going to do to start is just push your rear heel out to the rear so that it straightens your foot. So you're pivoting on the ball of the foot. Push your heel out to start so your foot is straight. Very simple. Your weight is pushing backwards as you do that. Now you'll probably find from here that you can't pick up this front foot, right? You can't get back enough, and I don't want you to be sticking your bum out or leaning backwards or any of this kind of stuff. So from that position, you have to use your core and suck that foot in. It's got to drag along the ground. Use your core, especially around your pelvis here. You'll feel it all squeeze in. It's a very strong, strength-building movement. Really creates power through there, through your groin. Very good for elderly when they start losing control of things, okay? So it keeps everything nice and tucked up in there. Good one if you've just, if you've given birth or something like that as well. So sliding back, sinking back into the rear foot until you feel that you can roll that heel up, you see? And then pick up the foot. So just pick the foot up like so, okay? So you push the foot out, you can't pick the foot up, drag it in until you feel like you can pick it up off the ground, like that. Once you can pick it up, only drag it back far enough to pick it up. Don't drag it all the way in here, and then it's really easy to pick it up. The point is you want to pick the foot up in a difficult position where it's out the front. That way you still feel, again, the core engaging through here to lift up your foot. So, one, sit back. I'm turning to my side as I'm doing that. Once I'm in position, I can pick that foot up. And now, anyone who was in the strength and conditioning class yesterday morning, you basically already did this posture, which is Repulse Monkey. The only difference is in Repulse Monkey, you don't do the kick so high. That's the only difference. So you turn, you lift up that leg, like so. Lift that leg quite nice and high, so the knee is about as high as your hip, like so. And then from here, you're going to kick backwards as you turn to the front. You see? So that's the movement. I'm facing this way. I've got to turn my body, let's say roughly back towards this corner to the front. So I'm not turning all the way back to the front. Sorry, this is the second variation. I'm thinking I'm doing the first one. We do turn almost all the way to the front on this version. So from here, I'm going to tuck that foot in and boom. See, there's the kick. Boom. As I say, the form way of doing it, I'll just demonstrate to this side so you can see the leg. What we did in class the other day was a really big accentuated back kick, holding the foot up and kicking backwards like so. This is not Repulse Monkey, okay? But it's the same movement in the hips, in the body. So from here, instead of doing that, sorry, it's not exactly the same because I'm not turning to the rear. In this case, the application is different. The one I gave you the other day was just kicking. So I'm looking that way. My body is twisted, so I'm looking. My intent is that way. In Tripping Repulse Monkey, which is the full name, you've got hold of his arm, you see, and you're booting him in the knee as you pull him forward. So he's getting this kind of thing happening to him. So he's attacked you from the rear, boom, you poke your fingers in his eyes, you grab hold of his arm, boom, this kind of thing, okay? So the kick is very low, sort of to the knee height, and it's close as well. The kick is, boom, right there, okay? The kick is not extended, the kick is, boom, right there. But you're turning your upper body back towards the front, because that's pulling on his arm, you see? There's the kick, and then you just place your foot down to end the kick. Okay, so that's what we're going to have a play around with. Straighten your foot out, sit back, drag that foot in as much as you need to. Now tuck your pelvis under, lift that foot up, take it over, and then turn your pelvis, turn your center back towards the front. Boom, there's the kick. See, the kick is there, boom, the knee is still bent at the point where I feel I make contact with his knee, and then I just extend that rear leg out, so straighten it out as I finalize my center back to a normal bow stance in the front. Then we're going to do the same thing on the reverse side. Now, when we switch sides for today, we're going to switch directions as well. Obviously, you don't in the form, you just do it this way and then this way. But if we do it this way, you won't be able to see what's going on. So we've done it that way. We're going to switch around. So now you'll be able to still see what's happening. So push that rear foot out again. The right foot pushes out. Suck that foot in. Lift it up in the air. Nice and high. Knee up to hip height. Roll it over. And then turn the hips towards the front and bah, there's the kick. See? Then just place that foot down and center your body into a bow stance facing the front. So you're in a normal bow stance facing the front again. Then we spin around, keep that same foot forward, so the right foot forward. Do the opposite. Push the left heel out. Drag the foot in. Engaging the core, tuck the pelvis, lift it up, take it over, and it's a stomping, it's a downward stomping kick. Bah! There. And then just stretch. When you finalize the movement, so as I said, the kick itself is there, is quite close to you. It's not out here somewhere, you see. It's boom, it's quite close, and it's sort of aiming a little bit towards the corner. It's not going straight, like if I'm here, I'm not going straight backwards like this. It's kind of going here, like if I extended it, it would go out towards that corner, which will leave me in a bow stance when I finish. But that's also the angle of the application. So, foot comes up, over, there's the kick with the knee bent. Now, when you place the foot down, I want you to reach that foot backwards. But reach with the heel, not the toe. You're not pointing your toe out, then you've got a hugely long stance. That's too big. You flex the foot and stretch back. Really stretch that leg back as far as you can, but place the heel down so the whole foot touches the ground together. Again, switcheroony. Push the foot out. Suck it, tuck it, over, kaboom, kick, boom. Those of you who don't know the form yet, switch around again. All I want you to do with the hands is, just keep your hands kind of with you, just on your guard kind of thing, here as we're coming back. Focus on the legs. Just lift your hands up. In guard, don't worry about, oh, what are they poking and doing here? Focus on the core movements, the legs. All I want you to do is, when you kick back, if it's the right leg kicking, it's the right hand striking to the front. Bang. So you're just getting this sensation of, you see, opposites. Bang. One hand goes forward, the foot goes backwards. Okay? There's the kick. And again, then you just sort of place the foot down. And you're actually finishing in the same posture as the end of brush knee twist step. Okay, nothing different. So you all know that, I think, from the first third. So that's your final positioning. Switch sides again. Again, just keep your hands in guard for now. Sit back, suck it in, lift it up. So both hands are lifted up in guard, facing out to that rear corner. Tuck that foot in and kick it back. And left palm forward, striking as the left foot kicks backwards. Then stretch that rear leg out and center. You'll notice when I center and when I'm finished, I'm 70-30 again. So I'm not sitting back as such. I don't want to sit back when I finish this movement. What I do want to do is place the foot and just kind of, see, I'm still front weighted, but there's just this little centering to balance into both legs. So there's allowing that little bit of distribution into that rear leg, so I finish in that 70-30 stance. Same again. Hands come up into guard. Kick backwards. There's your kick. And stretch it out. Place the heel. Oh, and as soon as you place your heel, here's a nice little detail. And this is important. We did this in the kicking yesterday morning. Anytime you're kicking backwards, your pelvis is obviously tilted down, okay? So the pelvis is tilted up now. It's tucked under, flat lower back, because the leg is in the front. As the leg pivots to the rear, the pelvis starts to tilt forwards to kick that leg back. Bang. So you can see there's a little arch in my lower back. That arch will remain until I place that foot on the ground. As soon as the foot's on the ground, it's no longer lifting to the rear. So as I settle into that 70-30 stance, of course, you're going to tuck that pelvis back under so you're in a normal bow stance to finish. Let's try again. Normal guard stance. Push that foot out. Suck it in. Keep your body nice and upright to start. Pick up your foot. Take it over. There is a fractional amount of forward lean on this posture. You're not trying to stay exactly upright. There is a little sort of a tilt forward, but don't be, doing this kind of stuff. It's just a fraction of a tilt. So just feel what feels right to get the angle of that kick, but not excessive. That's all I can say to you right now. And then again, stretching that leg out. And then as you tuck the pelvis under, see the whole body just straightens back up into that vertical positioning. Same again, push the heel out, suck it in, lift it up, tuck it, angle it back, and there's the kick, and then stretch it out, retuck, verticalize your body again, and back to normal. Really try to make sure when you're doing that, come here. Yes, I did. Really try to make sure you are that's probably a bit too high, but it'll give you the idea. See? So you're coming back, lifting it up. See, when I rotate the hip to turn the whole, everything's turning over, to aim the foot backwards. This is a nice way to do it also. You can have a little break in the middle if you have a djembe lying around. Anyway, roll that over. Now, because the hips have turned over, everything's pivoted, so the heel is now aimed backwards. Now, boom, that's when it can drop, because it is a downward kick. It's a stomping type of a kick. So just be careful. You don't sort of go, oh yeah, I can lift the leg right up, and then knock the djembe over when you kick backwards, okay? So, lift it up, keep it up, 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 until boom, boom, you feel it's in position to kick. I'll do it again facing you so you can have a look at that detail. Up, nice and high. Look, no. See, as soon as I started rotating the heel, the hip over, see how it's dropping? It's sagging down, sagging down, sagging down. That's no good. It's not what we want. Lift it up. You can even use your hands here. Say, okay, stay up, come on. Up, up. Hold it up, hold it up. Okay, you've aimed, heel aiming backwards. Boom. Boom. Once you've got your heel aiming backwards, you can kick. You can't kick directly from this position. Otherwise, your foot's going to end up going in the wrong position. You have to tuck it down. Boom. Wait till your hip is in the correct angle to execute that kick. Now remember, when you roll that over, it's dominantly the standing leg which makes that happen. I'm going to switch sides so I'm keeping my body balanced. Taking it up. Something that's really important as a teacher. Quite often we can make this mistake of, whilst we're explaining stuff, doing it on the same side, whilst we're explaining it, in which case you get much more confident on one side, or stronger on one side. So whilst you're explaining things, just switch sides every now and again. Confuses your students too, so you get a win-win. Okay, so up, like so. I've got to hold it up. Now this leg does internally rotate, but look, if I internally, this standing leg, right, is externally rotated. It's that way, okay? The knee is rotated outwards. If I internally rotate that leg, that's as far as it'll go. You see? That's not far enough. It's this hip, watch. It's this hip. In fact, my right leg, I would say my standing leg, my kicking leg, kicking right. I said every wrong thing before I said the right thing. Yes. The kicking leg, which is the left leg in this case, is fully externally rotated in this position. When I roll it over, at the point at which I'm ready to kick, which is now, the hip, the internal or external rotation is pretty much neutral. So I don't want to use my kicking leg to get the angle. I mean, it is used a little bit, as I say. It's going from fully externally rotated just to here, just to neutral. Okay, you relax the leg to neutral. You do not go from neutral and try to bend it in, because in that position, it's a weak position. It's a very weak position to try to kick from that stance. When you're kicking, you want that hip to be relatively neutral in that position. So we're externally rotating there. That's as far as I'm allowed to move this hip. So to get the kick to aim backwards, I've got to rotate my standing hip whilst holding this hip up. Now I've got the backward intent. Boom. Now I can kick backwards. Okay? So keep that in mind. It's your standing ball and socket there that is rotating around to allow that angle of the whole body. Your entire body is changing angle. From here, I don't want just my, even if I could, like, I can't really do it, but like I'm kind of able to half do it like that. But that's not a good kicking position, because it's only the leg aiming backwards, not the whole body. What I want from here is, now look at the body. Whoa, boom! That's the kind of power we want. See, and as the other hand struck forward, you see? So you want to feel like you can generate force through that portion of your body. Okay, let's just do that another couple of times, each side. Hope that's given you a good little idea of it, but now we'll just drill it. We'll just drill it a few times. I'll give you a few cue points as we go through. So starting with the right leg forward, facing the yoga mats, push the heel out, suck it in, lift your hands up with your foot up, rotate everything over, aim to the rear, and kick. Bah! And settle. Obviously, the easier version of doing this is just don't lift your leg as high. So I'll just demonstrate that now. So I'm pushing my foot out, sitting back, dragging it in, lifting it up. Maybe I just lift it to there. See, I can do the whole thing. I can still get the idea of the movement even though the foot's only a few inches off the ground. I can still get the general idea. Even though it's only that high, I'm still going up and down, up and over. I'm still stepping over the djembe. It's just a much smaller djembe. I haven't got one that small to demonstrate with, but yeah, just to there, roll it over and strike it back. Okay? Just off the ground. And like I always say, Taiji and ballet. Use a wall. Seriously. You will progress so much faster if all these kind of postures that you need to learn, you use something to hold on to as you're learning, because it helps you guide yourself into that nice position. Now again, I'm not leaning on the wall. I'm touching the wall as gently as I can, but I've just got that little bit of confidence, that little bit of support from the wall. If I wobble a little bit, I can just restabilize myself with that wall. Because if you can't balance at all and you're sort of going, oh, you know, you're doing this kind of stuff, it's counterproductive, okay? So hold onto a wall if you can't do it, okay? Right, 2 more. One from here, straighten it up, sit back, squeeze it in. Lift it up, take it over, kick and extend the right hand, bah. Stretch it out, tuck the pelvis, settle. Spin that around, stretch the foot out, sit back, tuck it in, squeeze it in, tucking the pelvis, everything nice and vertical. Turn everything over, kick back, strike with the left foot, left palm, bah! Extend everything out and settle. Okay, so you see now all those funny little exercise routines that we do in the warm-ups and in our strength and mobility classes, when we're just getting the hips used to doing certain things. You can see which postures they're obviously getting you ready for when you come into your second third and then into your third later on. Okay, let's have a little fiddle around with the penetration spirals. The penetrating spirals. Okay, this is a pretty simple movement. Just stand in a bow stance. Left, like you've just done brush knee twist step. I think you have just done. Have you just done? No, you haven't just done brush knee twist step. You've just done turn around and chop with fists. So you're basically in brush knee twist step, except that the right palm is up and slightly closed instead of down. So it's literally, those of you that know brush knee twist step, just turn that palm up and lightly close that fist. It's not a fist, it's just a softly closed fist like that, because it's actually a grab of something. Okay. Okay, all you have to do from here, let's start out really simple. Just throw a punch straight to the front. Bang. Don't do anything special. Don't spiral your hand, nothing. Just open your center. Bang. Just throw a punch straight to someone's face like that. Other hand obviously recoils. Bop. Just throw it like a jab. Boom. Okay? Boom. Get used to that. Boom. It's a straight punch. Punching straight from where I am. Boom. Straight out. Notice the arm is already a little bit bent in that position, like so. So you just extend it. Bang. But make sure, one thing I'll tell you, when you throw a punch, just like in small sansao, a lot of different techniques you've been learning over this month, don't extend your hand at the bottom, because then it makes it like this elephant move. Don't do this. Okay? So we want to keep the arm tucked, you see? Aim first, so a little bit of upwardness, you see? Then extend your arm. So don't see, the arm's already extended down here. The punch is up here. So your arm, boom, boom, must be extending out into that direction where you're punching to. Okay? Boom! Just feel that pumping action happen. Boom. 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 Okay, now all you have to do from there is do the exact same thing. But instead of punching like that, I want you to punch like that. Just turn your palm down as you do it. Boom. Okay, it's a downward facing punch. Bang. Notice how the shoulder and elbow are naturally a little bit more rounded now. When I tuck it in, see, it's tucked in. So depending on what you're trying to do, what type of punch, what area you're hitting, and where his guard is his guard on the outside, is his guard tucked in, is it open, all these kind of things will depend on, will dictate to which angle you do your punch at. So from here, we did straight punch with the elbow dropped, like tucked in. Now we're going to do horizontal punch, but notice it is still a straight punch. Bang. I don't want anyone doing any kind of a curve. There is no curve to this punch at all. It is a straight punch, straight through the center like that. Bang. Boom. Now one step further than that. Turn it further. It's the same thing, downward spiral, but instead of stopping there, you're going to spiral it all the way over. Till you're about, if you open your thumb there, that should be roughly about a 45-degree line, like that. So not down like that, that's too far. Then your elbow would be facing up. You see, it's just there. So my elbow is kind of facing out to the side, you see? I'm projecting out of the top two knuckles, the big two knuckles. Bang, like so. And I'm punching, if I imagine someone standing directly in front of me, right, nose to nose, but I'm going to punch him in the temple. So I'm not going to punch him here on the nose, I'm punching him here on the temple. So you see, it's not across my body like that. The hand, whoom. That's why sometimes people can get confused and think that it's a rounded punch. They see it on the side instead of like dead center, and they think, oh, it must be a rounded, a hook punch or something. No, it's not. It's a straight line. It is a driving force. Boom. Like so, with a downward spiral. Bang. Okay, let's just drill that a few times. So, actually, let's face this way, because when you open your body, you're going to be opening that way, and then you'll be able to see your screen. In fact, why don't we do mirror image? I think it'll be best if you look at me, if we're facing each other, literally facing each other. So I'll switch sides. I'll do it with my left hand. You keep doing it with your right hand to not confuse you. So from here, okay. Check your angle, you see? Obviously the thumb's tucked in for the punch, but that's your 45-degree angle. And back down. Palms up to start with, so you get a really nice, you get a full spiral because your palm's fully up and it's turning fully internal. It's fully external, fully internal. That's why it's called an internal martial art, because we do internally rotated punches, you see. That was a joke, just in case anyone didn't realize that. Have forward intent on the movement. Your natural 70-30 stance. You haven't got much room to move forward because you're already 70% forward. But there's just like an extra 5% maximum when you move into that punch. So there is a sinking into that front leg as I throw that punch. Okay. Open your center, making sure your chest is opening up, your hips are opening up, and obviously the other hand is just coming back on your guard. Okay, from there, there's your target point, okay? There's his temple. Again, mirror, mirror. Just do a clockwise circle, so you're doing a clockwise circle. That should be right, because I'm doing a counterclockwise circle. Yeah. clockwise circle around, and hammer fist here. Boom. Okay, so it's punch, circle, hammer. Basically, you're hitting the same point, just a little bit lower. Think like neck. So you've punched him in the temple, circle it around, and whack him in the neck with your hammer fist. Okay? Bang, circle around, hammer fist. Now that hammer fist doesn't stop. It's not a recoiled hammer fist. It's a go through hammer fist. Hit him on the neck. Boom! Drag him in. The hand is actually hooking like this. So you're grabbing your fist around the back of his neck and pulling him towards you. You're going to drag that back, drag his head in, and then boom! Punch him in the head with this upward spiraled punch. Whoomp, like so. Okay, and that's the finish of that movement. So you see the whole thing is spirals. I'll just show you the whole thing in flow from here. See how that right hand goes like a scooping boom. See, because it's sort of palm down at this point when I'm coming over. What? A little bit palm down. What? And then it's going to turn from palm down to palm up as it does that final movement. Let's try that again. Punch, open it out, hammer fist. Right hand is obviously coiling back as I'm dragging in with that hammer fist. Now I'm starting to sit back and boom, there's the final punch. And I finish about 90% in the back leg. You only start sitting back boom, after you make contact. Okay, so the hammer fist itself is still a forward movement. So what happens here is you sit that little sort of 5% of intent into the front leg from here, little tiny forward intent. As I load the hammer fist, you come back that same 5%, right? So back to sort of 70-30. So it's a little forward intent. Little backward intent, but still staying front weighted. Do not sit back. And then when you do the hammer, again, there's that little bit of forward. And then, of course, clunk. That's what, as soon as you feel clunk, I've got him. Now I pull him in by sitting backwards and punch him in with that final hand. This is something we do in Qigong. This is an interesting subject. When we do Qigong, anything slow like this, and the intent is to go forward and then forward again. So punch, punch. But because you're front weighted and because you're trying to do a slow, controlled, graceful, calming sort of a movement, you can't step. Okay, so I can't go, you see? That's what I would really be doing. I'd be coming from some position, I'd be throwing that punch, boom! And then on the hammer fist, you see? It'd be these little shuffles forward. Now, even when you shuffle forward, actually, if you watch my body movement, what? But in order to do the next shuffle, watch what happens to my body. I'm just going to shuffle. Okay, so I'm back weighted. Watch what happens to my body in between the two shuffles. Okay? See that? Now, it wasn't a sit back, but I had to put pressure into the rear foot to push me again. So it's like push, land, but then there's a little landing in that back foot. So I mean, it's you know, we're talking 1 or 2% here. So you're not sort of sitting back to recharge that leg, but nor are you going, whoa, like this and trying to hop over that front weighted position. So you shuffle, it's what? See that? So there's that tiny little pressure, just there, to sort of do the next one. If I exaggerate it so you can see it more obviously, it's something like this. You see, you can see my head going forward and backwards as I'm moving forwards. But it's very subtle. You see, it's wow. You can barely even notice that it's there. It's just like a little settling, not a sitting back. So because in a slow form, and this will apply to all your different Qigongs, and any time you're doing something which in martial would involve a step, but in the slow form it doesn't feel right to do the step, we can't go, I'm too far forward. I can't do that step slowly. It doesn't fit. So I'm mimicking that. I'm doing one. See, there's that little getting ready to step, but then instead of stepping on the end, I just do that little sink. So it's still got the same dynamic mechanics. You see, you still get the same feeling of forward, little charge up and forward, little charge up and forward, little charge up and forward. Even if application, you'd be going bow, bow, wow, boom, you see? So application, I'd be following the person, because of course he'd be falling backwards, wouldn't he? Boom, you knock him one punch, he's falling backwards. You've got to move into him. So sometimes people ask the question, when we do this first penetration punch, bang, and then the hammer fist comes in at the same level, like the same line target. So, but he'd be over there. Yeah, but this is a Qigong. The form is a Qigong. It's based on the martial applications, but ultimately we're doing the movements in the best way to enhance the Qigong of our practice, not the fighting applications. We've got other forms, the Pao Chui, the small San Sao, and just general fighting techniques, practicing the applications. Then you're going to move your feet. This is different. So, you see, there's that little settling. Now when I go forward, I can still visualize, whoa, I'm going out to get him. Whoa, here I come, whoa, I'm going out to get you. It's just small frame. And then I can still drag him in, boom, and punch him on the head there. So yeah, with reference to distancing, I've hit him, technically I'd have to follow him up to hit him again. Any techniques like that, you are still doing that. It's just you're doing it very subtly with the intent of it to enhance the Qigong. Okay, let's try that again. I think I'll stay mirroring you with this one. This way. Let's do it a couple more times that side. So you're still using your right hand to punch. One, load it over, bang, boom. Okay, one more time like that. Forward intent. Little settle, and then forward intent again, then sit back and boom. Switch sides. Punch, boom, forward intent. Load it over, little pressure in the back foot, that little coil, and again, forward intent, as a hammer. So that's another mistake people make. Without that rearward intent, they go forward, and they feel like they're too far into that front leg. You've got to get that settling. 1, 2, 3. Such a nice movement. You'll get excited about the second and third thirds. The first third is still beautiful, don't get me wrong. It's lovely, but it's lovely in its simplicity, you know? Second and third thirds. Oof, the spirals, the circles, you feel like a ribbon. You know those Olympic girls with the stick and the ribbon on the end of it? Just boom. Don't lose that first punch, remember. Boom, make it a punch. Don't make it this is the problem with this move, okay? Because it's quite flowy and spirally, quite often people, oops, and all of a sudden they're just doing a figure 8. Because that's all flowy and spirally. A straight line can still be flowy and spirally. So, whoa, bang, there's the straight line, you see? but then whoom, off that straight line, boom. You see it? It snaps in, it recoils, and then comes back. Bang, it's going like you're doing this. Bang. Bop, over, in. Just not that big. 1, 2, 3. All right, that'll do us. How did that feel?
That was fun.
Yeah?
Yes. It was
Fantastic.
That was fun, man.
Great.
So did everybody already know those movements? Has everyone done the second? Has everyone here done the second? I know, Robert, you haven't actually. Well, maybe you did 40 years ago when you were training with Dad at some point. But yeah, that probably would have been a new movement for you. But the rest of you training our stuff permanently, have you done second, third? Everyone?
The single whip.
Sort of.
Sorry,
Yeah.
big hands like clouds. That's where I'm up to. That's where I'm up till in the second, third. Wave hands.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you've done that movement. And Esther,
Yeah.
you said you've sort of done it a bit here and there.
Yeah, I think I also went up to like waving your hands as clouds. I think
Yeah.
that's where, or no, the punch to groin. That's where I left it off because
Okay.
that was too complicated for me.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you're at least familiar. And Marianne, I assume you've done the second, third.
Yes, but when you explain it now, I did already like this. So
Yeah.
it's very good explanation now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
All right then. Well, yeah, I will. Oh, first of all, were there any questions? Was there anything that didn't make sense, or that you want a little detail on, or something?
No, it's a lot clearer now for me, actually.
Good.
I always missed one part of it, and now it's a piece of the puzzle is coming together. So
Yeah.
it's really cool.
Excellent. Good.
Yeah.
Well, when you hit the first punch goes into the temple, the
Yeah.
hammer fist goes
Neck.
into the neck, and
Back
then
of the neck, preferably.
Okay, and then the bottom punch. Where's that?
Depends where the head falls. Let me show you.
Is that
It's a
going
cool
into
application.
Sorry.
Oh, darling wife. Could I have a head, please? Kids are a little bit too small to practice this one on. Okay, so let's see. I'll do it this side so you can see. So she's attacking me. She's throwing a punch. Throw a punch here. Boom. You see? That's why I'm rounding the elbow. If she punches me here and I punch her here, sorry, we both get hit. If I rotate that fist out, see what's happening to her arm. My fist is still in her face. So it's a rounded shape. That's why the final position kind of looks, did you hear that? I've gone back to being 13 years old again. The shape of that looks like a long-range hook punch. Okay, when people think hook punch, they think boom, like, you know, in here, really, really tight hook punches. But you can also throw a long-range hook punch, which whoom, looks like this. Boom. It's still a hook punch. Boom. See, it's still coming from the side, but the final position, look, it's no different. The difference is, though, look at the projection. It's coming around to get to that position, whereas this one is coming through to get to that same position. So that rounded structure in the arm, she throws that punch, boom! You see, you're slamming her in the wrist here with your ulnar bone, spiraling it through and knocking her either in the temple or actually one of my personal favorite shot is just here in the jaw here. The temple is very nice depending on the angle of her head, but it can glance. It's very easy to glance off the temple. But if you see here, see there? If you aim at the teeth, right there where it's all squishy because there's no muscle or anything, just right where the teeth are, but aim backwards, see that? When you push in, it digs in there. And if you punch someone directly in that way, inside, on the inside of that muscle, very easy knockout. Okay, so that's the first part of the technique. Boom. So as I say, she's going to move backwards then, isn't she? Boom, she's going to move back. So what? You see, that's where I'm moving forwards. So that second strike, I'm not just hitting her on the neck, because I can't grab her there, it's going to slide off. I'm hitting her on the back, sort of, not the very back like on the spine, but sort of the back corner of her neck, around the bladder meridian or something like that. So I've whacked her there, and again, it's with that sort of hooked, it's called a dog paw punch, rather than a traditional hammer fist like that. So it's boom, it's already hooking in like so. Bang, drag her head down, wah! You see? Now, right now, I'd have a punch straight into Bahui, okay, right on the crown of her head. But when her head first got there, so again, this will vary. I mean, put someone's head in that position and hit them, you're pretty much good to punch anywhere. You're going to do a lot of damage, so it doesn't really matter that much. And I've already hit her twice as well. This one particularly has probably already knocked her out. But when her head came down, before her head settled, when I dragged it, just, again, I don't want to do this too hard because you've got to wrench their neck out, but wah! When her head first came down, it was more here, into the side of her head, which is an even better punch. So her head kind of came down at a certain angle. Then when I stopped to explain stuff, her head sort of dipped a little bit. But just as I go, wah, and pull it down, her head, wah, just there, is exposing the side of her head. So I'm punching, thank you, darling, you can attend to the child. I'm punching in just here above the ear, okay? If you run a line right from the top of your ear straight up about 1 sun, which is that sort of distance there, like so, just above your ear, press in there. You go off to the back of the head, off here, like, yeah, I could sort of take something there. A little bit forward is around the temple, that's still not nice as well, but just above the ear there, oh, you feel it pressing right into a very, very exposed blood vessel. And you can kill someone 3 days later by hitting someone there. That's a medically proven fact. It's happened to many, many people, just from things like skiing accidents and things like that, where they fall over and whack their head. The blood vessel bursts, leaks blood into their head. They think, oh, I've got a headache, you know, take some Panadol, take some aspirin and that kind of thing, and they drop dead because they're filling their brain with blood. So if ever you get hit on the side of the head, anywhere on the side of the head really, just to be extra cautious, if you get hit on the side of the head in sparring or something, with a glove on, it'd be pretty damn hard to pop that with a glove on. So if you're wearing protection, it's very unlikely that it would happen. But if you accidentally take a hard knuckle punch directly to there, and, you know, maybe an hour later, if you feel like, oh, geez, I've got a really bad headache, go and tell the doctor what's happened. You need to get a scan and check that there's nothing broken in there, because you literally could not wake up the next morning. And depending on how hard it's been burst, it could be anything from 1 to 3 days later that you drop dead. So it's a very dangerous spot. And don't worry, it doesn't only kill them 3 days later. They can't keep fighting you in those 3 days. So you still knock them out at the same time as well. But when they get up and go home, then they die 3 days later. So, interesting fact, if you get into a fight with someone and you knock them out with any kind of a strike, really, but especially that one there, take them to the hospital. Different if they're invading your home and you kill them or something, but if it's just some stupid brawl in the pub or something, you knock someone out. If ever you knock a person out, call, I was going to say 911. What is it here? 999. Call 999 or 900, whatever your emergency number is. Call an ambulance. Tell them what's happened. This guy attacked me. I defended myself. I knocked him out. I hit him just here. You need to check his brain. Or I hit him in the neck. You need to check his airways and things like this. Otherwise, if he does die 3 days later, you might be done for it. And now you're up for manslaughter. Okay? So ever you get into a serious situation like that and you've knocked someone down, maybe you knock them and they hit their head on a chair on their way down, something like that, really be careful with that. Get them checked out, because that way at least you've shown that you've done everything possible to help them. You were defending yourself, not just boom, knocked him out and walked off without caring or something like that. So, yeah.
That was cool. Cool.
Yeah. So, I hope that all makes sense. Yeah, I'll send out an email today probably, because I think at least everyone here is interested in doing some second, third stuff on one of the mornings. I'm sure there'll be a bunch of other people. Yeah, and that way we'll have that one. I just saw out the corner of my eye Gabby doing a one-arm chin-up. I was like, fuck, what? And then I saw her foot was on a little rock on the side as well, so she was using her leg, but just looked out the corner of my eye like she's going, look at me, I can do a one-arm chin-up. All right, guys, thank you very much for joining me. Oh, okay, Gabby has to show you one thing before she goes. Quick, Gabby, do it.
Let's see.
Do it. Good job, Gabby. That was the one-arm chin-up. Okay, thank you all so much for joining. Even if you are in this class and I send out this email about the second, third, please still respond to it, even though you've told me here, just so I have it on email, like how many people want to do a second, third class. And plus, I'll also ask you like which day would be best, because if possible, all the people who want to do the second, third, if I can try to make it on a day that you can all make it at a live time, that would be obviously ideal. So, yeah. Okay, thank you all so much for joining. Monday morning, 8 a.m. is the next class. Feel free to sign off whilst Gabby is showing you one more thing.
That's nuts.
Great job, Gabby.
God.
Who's what? That? That?
No.
That? That's Esther, but she's got her camera off. You saw her before. That's Esther. Esther Spronk.
Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Did you just blow them a kiss, Gabby? Gabby just blew a kiss.
Tu veux m'envoyer un petit?
Oh, look, it's Autumn.
Oh.
Hello, Autumn.
Envoie un
How
petit?
are you? Bonjour.
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 She's just waking up.
Mes enfants? Is that something
Mes
you say
enfants.
to a little girl? Yeah.
My kids. Yeah, yeah.
What does it mean? Little girl? Mes enfants?
My kids. It
Oh,
means
but like my
Mes
child, my
Oh, yeah.
kid. But not necessarily my daughter. Like, can I
Yeah,
say it to her?
can be both.
Yeah, yeah. Bonjour, mes enfants.
Bonjour.
Okay, look, Gabby wants to show you something, Autumn. Look, watch this.
Okay.
She's got this special climbing frame. Okay, go on, spin upside down.
Oh,
Oh.
fantastic.
Wow, good job, Gabby.
Great.
Your ballet. Go on, do you want to do it too, Clara? Go on then, Gabby. Autumn wants to see your ballet dancing. Go on. Oh, where are you? Okay, just do it quickly because I have to turn the computer off now. Okay, so do one quickly and then take it off. No, not going to work? Okay, come on.
Where? J'avais perdu sa tête.
Go on, I thought you were doing ballet dancing.
Yeah, putain, c'est commencé.
I want to show them something.
Tu peux te mettre debout.
Go on then, quick. Good job, Clara. Okay, say goodbye to Autumn. Say bye-bye.
Au revoir.
Right, they have to go now. We have to go. We've got to get ready for Emily. See you later. See you next time.
You, bye.